Is that working? It says live. Good. Okay. Hello. It's been a very long time since I've done anything like this. But today my job is to record, edit, and produce a short story, which I've written for a a writing competition later this month. And I thought, what the hell? I'll stream it while I'm doing my little job. Just the recording part. I won't show the incredibly boring editing or any of that sort of stuff. So the story itself is about 1,200 words. Should take less than 10 minutes to record, depending on how badly I mess things up. So let's get into it. My little microphone here, hello. I like it nice and close. I like my mics like I like my women, close and fuzzy and a little bassy and switched on, plugged in. Yeah, alright, I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so check my recording software. Hello, 1, 2, 3, yeah. Good, that looks like it's working. Okay, we ready? Oh gosh, let me just have a little drink. Mineral water with lime, nothing with sugar, nothing too cold. They will mess up your throat. This is zero calorie, sugar free, lime mineral water. Hi. It's hard not to sound a bit racist when you pronounce things properly in Japanese, but there you go. Alright. It might be the voice I put on. Konnichiwa. Watashi wa Steve desu. Alright, anyway. Here we go. Steve Parker Audiobooks presents The Crevasse, written and read by Steve Parker. It had opened up in the middle of the main road of our town late summer a few years back without attracting much notice. It was just a tiny crack back then, and who's going to notice one more crack on a small town road? As anyone who's ever worked on a small-town council will tell you, budgets are tight and costs are never-ending. Repairs are a constant concern, which is why so many of the local houses and farms have dirt roads rather than asphalt. Except for the old Mitchell house, of course. But they had done very well in the past and paid for their own blacktop, so that loose stones wouldn't mess up the paint job on Michael Mitchell's fancy new Mercedes. But I digress. The crack had gone unrepaired all year and had slowly grown, but still no one paid much attention. It's not like there weren't potholes around. Hell, the big one on Old Kent Road was so bad traffic had to drive around it. It had been accidentally enlarged by Jim Brock's tractor, who refused to pay attention to requests to not bring it into town. He didn't have a car, he said, and needed to get supplies at the shops. Supplies, sure. Small, brown, clinking supplies, full of effervescent, slightly toxic golden liquid mostly, but I digress again. I seem to be making a habit of doing that. I guess a fella will do most anything to avoid talking about, well. After the first full year of the new crack, the town hit a pretty bad patch. The worst drought in 50 years, the news said. If you listen to the old men in front of the local watering hole, it was more like the worst in 100 years. How they could possibly know that when the oldest of them was just over 60 was anyone's guess. But on top of that, a plague of insects, attracted by the rising soil temperature, said the local experts, ate almost all of what little we did manage to grow. In the face of all this, little wonder that no one really noticed that the crack had stretched most of the way across the main road in town, except for the local kids. I mean, it was pretty deep, you see, and they spent a lot of time poking it with sticks and dropping lit matches into it to watch how far they fell. I guess we really should have noticed that, but so as long as folks could still drive over it, it just wasn't a big enough issue to draw much attention. Everyone was just trying to make a living. When the town survived the lean year, as it always does, digging deep into savings and taking out a few government loans, as well as a healthy donation from the Mitchells, for which they would doubtlessly extract yet more business considerations from the local council. A Mitchell never does anything helpful unless it profits their family. And the crack continued to grow. By this time, you could really hear it and feel it under your wheels when you drove over it, and the heavier vehicles took to using a detour, unless they absolutely had to use the main road for deliveries and such. It started to come up in council meetings even, but there was just so much else which had to be done, especially after the terrible harvest. Families had to be fed, schools kept open, emergency services, water, gas, electricity. There was just nothing left in the budget to pave over a crack in the road. And so it grew and grew. I mean, pretty soon parents had to warn their kids away from playing around the crack. It was now so wide that cars had to take a detour around it, and it was so deep that the bottom was barely visible, even with the strongest torch. The old man Alan fell in drunk and broke his leg in 3 places. It took the whole day for the emergency workers to get him out and over to the hospital 2 towns over. The workers talked uneasily about a terrible stench emanating from the bottom of the crack, which was now so big that crack didn't really describe it anymore. Folks started calling it the Crevasse. They laughed a little when they said it. I kind of miss the sound of laughter. It didn't take long before passers-by could smell what the workers had been talking about. It was a foul odour, not quite like anything anyone had smelt before. Part rotten egg, part rancid flesh, part slimy mould, all just disgusting. People started avoiding it, or if they had to go near, they held handkerchiefs over their faces or wore those hospital masks, Council discussions grew more serious, but the funds were simply not available. Even the Mitchells were feeling the pinch from the bad year, and were unwilling to shell out cash for repairs, even as a short-term loan to the town. The crevasse seemed to grow daily, as did the smell. Shops started to shut down on Main Street. Vehicles stopped going down there altogether. Even the kids stopped throwing things in it. It had grown so large that it seemed to take up real estate in the minds of the locals. It was all anybody talked about, all anyone thought about. It even invaded sleeping minds and inhabited the townsfolk's dreams, and later their nightmares. And one night, the sounds started. It was just a low, unsettling murmur at first, like a small group of doctors talking quietly in a hall outside your hospital room. But it soon grew. Cracks and pops like little firecrackers, then huge, deep, shuddering groans throughout the night. Weirdest of all was that it stopped in the day, as if the sun calmed the active ground. Warmth again, said the experts, just like that which attracted the bugs that ate our crops during the year. The deep, dark ground swelled with absorbed heat during the day, and then shrank and compressed during the cold night, which caused all the sounds. Each night, though, it got worse. Louder and louder came the pops, longer and deeper came the groans, until finally, one night, an almighty crack emanated from the crevasse, bouncing around the township with such force that windows blew in. The next morning the sounds did not stop as they previously had with the rising of the sun. A thick black smoke covered the entire centre of town, and the foul stench was so bad that everyone moved away from the streets and up onto the surrounding hills to watch from afar. Local experts donned wartime gas masks and ventured in to examine the crevasse, and never came back. Government vans filled with folks in hazmat suits and fancy equipment set up on the edge of the town before venturing into the smoke, and likewise were never seen again. The groans are getting louder, and dark red flashes are emanating from the black cloud covering my town, and I don't mind telling you, I'm scared, more scared than I have ever been in my life. I'm getting the hell out of here. And I suggest you do the same, while we still can. There we go, 8 minutes 30. Not too bad. Not too many errors in there. I switched up a few words from time to time. Oh, just wanted friends. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, totally. Alright, good. So now I will go and start editing this. There we go. The Crevasse Master. Export as WAV. There we go. And one more export audio. The Crevasse edit A. Nice. Okay, good. It's misunderstood, exactly. Okay, so that's it. I'll now take it over for the editing and whatnot and spend the rest of the day fixing it up and finishing it. Thanks for coming along. I hope you have enjoyed this little editing session. It's been a long time. I'll try and do more as we go on. I've mostly been... I was trying to record The Great Gatsby, which takes a lot of work. Doing an American accent is not easy for me. It's something I have to spend a lot of time warming up and preparing for. And then I got pneumonia and spent 2 weeks in hospital and sort of lost my momentum, you know. So I'll come back. I'll try and record more stuff. Can I ask you something first? Yeah, sure. What's up? What can I do for you? What can I tell you? We're waiting. Good old lag. It's fun. Take your time. All good. I'll prepare my files for work as we wait. Here we go. I'm trying to make music and wanted to know if I can use your voice acting. Depends what it's for, depends what you want to use, all that sort of stuff. Drop me a line. If you go to steveparkeraudiobooks.com, you'll find a tab. Hold on, I'm just opening the website now. steveparkeraudiobooks.com. It's a little bit slow, this website. We've paid for like the best service we could find, but I think unless you actually buy your own servers for several $1 million, it's still going to be terrible. There you go. Up the top, steveparkeraudiobooks.com. Up the top, they have a contact tab. And if you fill that out, send it through. Let me know what the project is and all that sort of stuff, and what you intend to use, and yeah, we'll sort something out. Generally, it's okay. I just want to make sure it's not going to be thrown over loudspeakers at Nazi rallies and all that sort of stuff. You know, we want to avoid that. It's bad press, you know? Yeah, great. So yeah, do that. It's great. Also, you should maybe drop a line to Matche, editor, who also makes music. He's very good at that stuff. Nice. I have an example I could send on Discord. I don't plan to change what you were saying. Yeah, sure. Send it up. Send it up. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, do that. Excellent. All right. So I will now get back to work. Edit that piece, put it up. It should play in the next few months or so. We're actually doing okay for short stories at the moment. I think we've got the next 3 planned, and of course the winner of the competition, whoever that ends up being, that will play at the end of July. Nice! Okay, thanks for coming. We'll catch you for the next one. Hopefully it'll be a bit more in-depth than just a short story like this one. Okay, have a good one. Bye.